on Thanksgiving, you're not doing the family style Thanksgiving turkey dinner. Do you want to explain that to me? But I didn't. I was already in a mindset. I was like, I just knew that conversation, like me asking that and then them explaining it to me, it wasn't going to change anything. So I was just like, okay, well then do you guys offer the single turkey dinners? And they said, yeah. I said, okay, let me get 2 of those. And it's the same amount of food as the family style. So I ordered 2 and I wound up saving $5 on the deal. And I got 2 extra sides. So whatever. I don't get your reasoning behind that, Bob Evans.
Welcome to episode 4 of The Media's Input. I am your host, James A. Paxson. If you want to check out episode 3 with Robert Wykowski Jr., he is the content director and the creator of Dragon Den Sports. Go to the YouTube channel, James Paxson, to check that out. But today on episode 4, we have a radio personality up in Saginaw, Michigan. From 3 to 8, you can hear him on Mix 106.3. He also hosts his podcast, The Bird and the Beard. He is the bird in that scenario. I have Mr. Clay Bird with me today. How are we doing?
What's up, buddy? I'm doing good. Feeling good. I'm excited to be on here, dude.
Yeah, I know. It's a cool thing. I'm glad it's working out, talking to a bunch of different media members, because a lot of us aren't really doing anything right now with the virus.
Yeah, no, it's an amazing. Whenever I saw you launched it, I was like, wow, that's like, because you have all these like niche, different podcast, video game podcasts, whatever. And I feel like this is like a cool, like you can get some cool people on here, dude. This is a really good idea.
Absolutely. And it comes from the beginning, first episode, where every single one of the people in the media have a story to tell and a way they got there. And so that's why I'm glad I'm doing it. And so, it's kicking off, episode.
It's cool, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I'm honored to be here.
Of course. So what have you been doing since the virus started? Have you picked up any new hobbies, done anything different?
Man, so yeah, since the virus started, what are we on, like day like 70 something? I don't know, I'll lose count. But yeah, so immediately after, the shutdown and everything, working from home, got the home studio set up, and it's one of those things to where it like the first like month and a half, I don't even know how long we've been doing this. It was like I was finding like I was struggling to like find my, flow, like, okay, this is when I would normally be working. This is when I'm going to work, but it's hard to like separate those times. But hobbies and stuff, I've been really into cooking. I've always liked to cook, but I've been trying out like different recipes and things like that and like really like testing it out. And I've been doing a lot of cooking, watching a lot of YouTube videos. Been playing Nintendo, Super Mario 3. Just made it to World 8, so I'm pretty excited about that. But yeah, other than that and work, just staying home and that's it.
Has the dog interrupted any job setup yet, or has she been doing a good job?
It's so funny that you said that. It seems like every time that I go to do a break, she like wants to be vocal. It's like she wants to talk too, because my neighbors have dogs as well. And so like if one of them will bark, then like she'll bark. And it seems to be like only whenever I'm talking or like doing a break. And so like for the first like a while, I would like redo it and everything. And then finally I just started incorporating it into my show. I was like, if you hear my dog in the background, that's Gabby, and that's just her saying that she wants to talk to you and say hi.
That's one of the best things I've seen, especially for like TV people, is when they started working from home. It's like, yeah, this is cool. We can do this from home. And then you see all the kids and the noises. My main thing is, and we may get a little visit today, is the house right next to the one I'm in right now is construction. So we may be in the middle of a question and it's just, a saw going. So that's what's always fun. But especially all the TV people to see like their kids come up. It's kind of cool, but it's like, they're interrupting.
Dude, I cannot even imagine having to like, so shout out to, if you're a parent working from home right now and in any industry really, and you're having to work and also take care of your kids, salute to you, because I cannot even imagine having to deal with it. It's hard enough, it almost makes it sound like, oh, your dog barked during your breaks. Well, guess what? My kid just peed all over the floor and I got to go clean that up now. Yeah, no, so shout out to all the parents working from home. It's crazy.
You would think the dog would pee on the floor, not the kid, but
Right. Yeah. Yeah, no, Gabby's potty trained. She's good.
oh, there we go.
Yeah.
So you've been someone who's been around in a bunch of different cities and done a bunch of different stuff involving radio and podcasting. Talk to me about your beginning, your education history, and where you've been that got you to now the great city of Saginaw.
So I guess it started, well, I went to college at the University of Oklahoma, got my broadcasting degree. Really thought that was going to slingshot me straight to the top of the chain there, but quickly found out that wasn't the case. So yeah, graduated in Oklahoma, realized that with the degree that I had, Oklahoma wasn't really going to be the place where I wanted to grow in my career. I didn't even really know like if I wanted to do movies or radio or what. I was just like, I like the media and I'll figure it out. So I started working on a friend's farm for a couple of years just to move back home to save money. Worked on a farm for a couple of years, saved up like $3,000, packed up my car and drove from Oklahoma to Oregon with no job, no house, nothing. Just $3,000 and hoping that I could lock down a position whenever I got there. So I get there, you know, living out of my car, finally I got a interview with Alpha Media. I did not know at the time, but Portland, Oregon it's where corporate is for Alpha Media. And so got an interview for a street team gig. I was like, okay, cool. Go in, get the interview, start working on street team, and just hungry, like literally and like metaphorically, like just hungry because I was working like my hours, like some weeks it would be 5 hours, some weeks it would be, 20 hours, but it was just super like inconsistent. I didn't have like a base level of income to rely on. So while I'm working the street team job, I'm also like delivering food for Postmates and just like doing whatever I could do to survive. And then slowly but surely started getting more involved, started learning some engineering stuff, setting up remotes for on-air talents. Finally got a job, or not a job, but like an opportunity to like be on air, doing like overnights and nights on like weekends and stuff. And then producing shows, like syndicated shows that we had on some of our different stations there, and just started like learning not just one craft, but any craft that I could learn in that industry. And the whole time, brushing elbows with all of the corporate people and not even realizing it up until a certain point. And then, so yeah, did that for 4 years. And then the opportunity arose to come to Saginaw to not only be on air, but to actually program the station. And I was shocked. I was like, wow, like this is one of the milestones that I've been, working for, and it's here. And I'm moving across the country again. So yeah, moved here to Saginaw, and I've been here since September. And yeah, it didn't really go the way that I thought it was going to go moving here because of like COVID and everything. Because I thought by now, they would have pictures of me up and maybe a statue like, Clay's in Saginaw, like he's so great. But yeah, COVID kind of put some delays on those plans. But yeah, man, now we're here. Now I'm working from home in my home studio.
Well, what's the biggest difference you've seen from regular radio personality and worker to now the boss, the program director? What's the biggest difference you've seen in yourself? Dude,
that is that's my biggest struggle, like today still. Because I've never been in a management role before. Like looking to a management role, thinking like, oh yeah, I can handle that. But it's a lot because usually, you have like, there's a problem. It's like, okay, you go to someone, they fix it. And now I'm the person like where people are coming to with problems and I have to fix it. And I'm like, oh my God, like I'm the person now. But yeah, that's a struggle, like finding, I guess, the confidence to be like in my decision-making, like wanting to do something and then being like, oh, I want to ask permission, or like, and then be like, no, like you're the person. Like if you think that's a good option, then that's the option you go with. And then also having to manage people is a whole new experience for me as well, because you talk to different people in different ways to achieve the same result. And so I'm learning how to do that. I'm getting better at learning how to do that. And it's really weird not having like a not escape, it's not the right word, but like a go-to point. And like there are people like there's format captains and like there are general managers and stuff for me to talk to and get guidance from, and I'm so grateful for them, because they know that I'm green or new at this, so they're like guiding me like, hey, I've messed up here before, so maybe don't do that and maybe try this. That's really helpful. But yeah, it's cool, man. It's really cool. I enjoyed it a lot.
What in the near or long-term future are you hoping is going to be new for Mix 106.3 or going to be a big milestone for you?
Man, I love this question. My plans with Mix, it's so funny because it's like a David and Goliath story. Like Mix, we have like it's like the setup of like your main competitor is like a heritage station, bigger, antenna, they reach further, and our signal's smaller, and Mix has kind of been all over the place in the past, and I'm really excited to use some of the ideas and the tactics that I have just as far as programming goes to really take advantage and use what looks like a disadvantage of like being smaller and not as well known, and turning that into an advantage. And I'm really curious to see over the next couple of years where Mix goes. You know what I'm saying? With like the rebranding and changing up the programming style and cleaning up the music and all that. I'm hopeful and I'm excited. It's going to be either really good or in a couple of years I might be on unemployment. So, but no, it's going to go good, man. I'm really excited to see what happens post COVID.
Right. Out of all the stations you've worked for and all the places you've been, who do you think is the best radio DJ or radio personality you've personally met that honestly just goes so great with the music you listen to?
Oh, wow. That's good, because there are so many like awesome DJs that just like fit the format so good. Basically the whole Live 95.5 crew in Portland, they fit. Phil has done a really good job of like hiring people that actually like fit the brand, like Ice, Huggy, Low. They're all like they're so on point, and they're so talented and so unique in their own different way. The whole Live 95.5 crew is just amazing, and they're the ones that actually coached me and taught me how to be an on-air personality. Because it's weird, talking into a mic and what you think like radio is. Like you start out and it's just like doing like the corny radio voice on da da da, to just like being yourself and like being authentic. And they're all really, really good at that. And they showed me. Another person that really fits like the format and it's like really good with the brand. His name is Jared, and he's also in Portland on an alternative station. It's called Kink. And he's like one of those people that's like the lifestyle and like the vibe of the brand, like it's him, like 100%. Yeah, no, honestly, all of the on-air talents that I've met in Portland, which that's the only place outside of here that I've really done radio, they're all good because I've learned something from each one of them.
Where did the idea come about to start your podcast, and like how did it come about to talk about stuff that was This Stays in This Room and now is the Bird and the Beard?
Right. So our podcast that we started, well, to answer the first part, so my buddy Miho and I, we were both on the same, like we both had the same job, the utility guy, what have you, And so we're both working side by side, and, we both wanted to grow and like do more. And so at the time, the boss that we were working under, and not just him, but multiple people, it seemed like a constant thing that we would hear is like someone would come in the room and they'd be like, want to tell you something. They'd be like, this stays in this room. Like, it's like some massive secret, you know? And most of the time, like, they're not. It's just like, okay, just gossip and rumor stuff. But so we heard that a lot. And I was like, dude, what if we started a podcast called This Stays in This Room? And we talk about all this stuff that we hear that people say, hey, this stays in this room. And so that's where the idea came from. And we just started doing episodes first, just with audio, and then we incorporated the video into it later on, and had a lot of fun with it. We had some really good guests on, had some comedians. We had who all did we have? We had Harlan Williams come on. That was really cool. We had this guy named Young Gravy come on. And yeah, it's mostly something for us to like have fun with. It's like, okay, if we're going to be here and, you know, everyone's saying like, oh, you got to create content. I was like, okay, let's have fun and do something we want to do while also creating content that could, you know, go on the brand of the station. And so we started that, kept it rolling. And then I moved here and ran into had to take some time off because we were trying to figure out the logistics of, one, are we still going to be able to do the podcast, like with, you know, us being in different spots, and am I going to have time? Because I didn't know what all of my responsibilities were going to be at the time. And got back on it and decided to rebrand to the Bird and the Beard, because we weren't really hitting like the numbers, and it was like super hard to find. Like, people would they'd be like, this stays in the room. It's like, no, this stays in this room. And so it was like hard to search, like hard for people to like talk about or find or whatever. And so we rebranded to the Bird and the Beard because my on-air name is Clay Bird and Miho has a pretty dope beard. So yeah, got the new logos made and everything, and we're still kicking now. We do it this way now. We do it via Zoom, or we do it on StreamYard now, which is really cool. Have you messed with StreamYard at all?
No, I haven't worked with that one.
Dude, StreamYard is really cool because it's kind of like a setup like this, but it lets you stream live on multiple platforms.
Oh.
So it's like you can stream live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Periscope, all at the same time, and it like automatically saves and all that. It's really cool. So yeah, that's what we do now.
Yeah, that's where kind of, you know, the virus has a lot of bad and negative to it. But one of the positives is you're learning how to communicate in different ways, and you're learning what's the best, you know, video or phone or audio that you can do now from your house.
Yeah, 100%. Adapting.
That's for sure.
Adapting and rolling with the punches. But it's cool, man. I like this technology. Yo, and the people with Zoom, like the creators of Zoom or whatever, I bet they're having a heyday, because I don't even know how long Zoom has been around, but like during this pandemic, like Zoom is the new normal. So I bet they're like silver lining, like the pandemic is super good for Zoom and any other like streaming service people. I bet they're happy about that. Not the pandemic, but, you know, getting their platform to be recognized.
What makes Miho a good co-host, and what makes him so special that you decided to work with him?
Miho, what makes Miho a special co-host? I think the biggest thing is that we're like legit just friends, and, you know, like we live together, we work together, and, you know, we both have similar interests, and, you know, just sitting around talking, like on a night, you know, we're watching Netflix or just hanging out, boozing, doing whatever. Like the conversations that we would have would be like, dude, this is like podcast material. And like, so now it's like anytime we're on the phone or anything, any conversation we're having, we're like, save it. Let's save it for the podcast. But yeah, what makes Miho a good co-host is like, we're very much different, but we're also very much alike. Like in the terms to where in general, I have more of a positive outlook on things, to where he's probably gonna get mad at me for saying this, but in general, he mostly like looks at things like on a more negative side. So it's like the positive, negative. we balance each other out really well, and we can just be real and like authentic with each other. It's just we're friends, and I feel like that's what makes it good, like the chemistry.
Being someone who is working at a station that's like a pop station, like a hits station, who do you think's in the music scene right now that's not well known that you think's going to be a huge superstar in a couple years?
Dude, that is a great question. That's a hard question.
Well, it's funny if you're completely wrong. That's why I first thought I'd ask it. Like,
right.
Someone who we have never heard of in 5 years.
Right. Okay. Man, it's really hard with the pop, like to do that, like with a pop artist, because it's like, you don't want to like, not discourage, but like disgrace someone that's like already at a certain level and like be like, oh, they're not really popping right now, but in 5 years they could be great. But in their head, they're like, wait, I'm great. Like I'm on the, like people know me. I would say on the pop side, a dude to have your eye on, and also like he's already accomplished so much, so I'm not trying to downgrade him. But if people haven't heard of Alec Benjamin, I feel like he's an up and comer on the pop side of things to keep your eye on. Hip hop. Can we talk hip hop? I know you're a hip hop fan.
Yeah.
So there's a guy. This is probably a better prediction. There's this guy from Oklahoma. He's an Oklahoma rapper. His name is Josh Salee. I'm saying his name wrong. Josh Salee. And he's got like from the second that I heard him, like he's got that quality, and he puts out the content. Like he's like on that, like he's on that cycle, and it's just gonna take one for him to just go to the next level. But dude, he's got all the ingredients, and honestly, I feel like at this point for Josh, it's just like waiting on his time, because he's extremely talented, and he's got his own lane, like of rap. Like he's like really got like that niche, and I'm excited to see. Like I really feel like in my heart that at someday, like he's gonna be like on the radio or like big. Like, people are gonna be like, oh yeah, Josh Salee. But yeah, I got my fingers crossed. I'm rooting for him. He's good. You should check him out, dude.
I will check them out for sure. Yeah. Those two guys I definitely will check out, and I'll hold you to it to make sure. Like, I'll say, like, when are they getting big and so all that stuff.
Yeah. No, I think, you being a fan of hip hop, I think you'll dig Josh. Like, it's some of his songs are like harder rap. Like you could I listen to him in the gym a lot whenever I could go to the gym. He's got that kind of like angry, like choppy flow.
Right.
It's so good. It's good. Yeah, check him out.
I will definitely check him out. One thing I want to ask you is, what do you think has been one of your biggest mess ups since you've gotten into radio? What do you think was something that's been like the biggest thing that you still think about to this day, like that I can't believe I did? Oh,
dude, there's so many. They happen every day. But the biggest one, buddy. Well, the biggest one, the biggest screw up that I've done since being in radio is Miho and I forget if we were doing a podcast or a segment or something in the studio where we normally record, and we're going and we're talking, and I usually so this is actually Miho's screw up, but I'll take blame for it. I'm usually the one running the board, like whenever we do our podcasts and everything. And this day, for some reason, Miho was running the board. Or no, we were recording a segment with one of the morning shows is what we were doing, like a pre-recorded segment for them to air the next day. And Miho was on the board, and we're all in there, like we start, and it's like a 5-6 minute segment, like morning radio, you think. And we're all in there talking and like having fun and like doing the bit or whatever. And one of the coworkers comes in, the APD of the station, actually. She's like, dude, you guys are on the air. And so I look over, and Miho's got all of our mics like potted up and on. So for 5 minutes, 6 minutes, the station's just running and like playing music and stuff, and we're just talking over it. Like for 5 minutes, it just sounded like a cluster. And I remember like walking away from that and just being like so, one, embarrassed, and then two, like, oh, like it hurt, you know, because it's like you're hungry, like wanting to grow, climb, you know, and then you mess up something like that, which is like, I mean, I guess in the grand scheme of things, it's not that big of a deal, 5 minutes. But at the time, it felt like the world was over. And another time, now I'm remembering everything. Another time, we did this, it was on our hip hop station. We did this segment called The New It Too, where we play all these like new, you know, records and stuff. And so it was my job to get the music that was being played and clean it, you know, edit it and everything and put it on the air. And I got lazy one day and put a song in without listening to it. And dude, it's airing. And I'm sitting in the next thing I know, I'm hearing like every cuss word. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like in there panicking. So I just like hit next and just like, it goes to the next song. And my PD at the time heard it and called me and was like, dude, what are you doing? And I was so scared, dude. I was like, I'm about to lose my job, dude, because stuff like that, where it has like a fine attached to it, is and like the FCC and all that. No, yeah. So I definitely dodged a bullet with that one. That one was scary. What
song was it?
It was, I think it was Sci-Hi the Prince. I can't remember what song it was, but I remember it being Sci-Hi the Prince. And there was like a feature on it because it was a girl rapper that was on like as the feature. And she's like talking about riding D and inward this. And I was like, oh my God, dude. So I was really scared about that. I thought I was going to get fired over that one, but luckily we made it through that storm. That was really scary, dude. Even thinking about it now, I'm like, oh my God.
Well, the last question I'll ask you then is, what do you think's the biggest moment of your career so far? The best thing that you think has happened that you look back on and go, wow, I'm so happy that happened.
Oh, like the biggest like thing, like the thing I'm most proud of?
Yeah,
or
you're most proud of.
Well, it's at this point in my career, it's being in the position that I am. Actually, you know, running a station, being in charge of, you know, everything, you know, the good, the bad, having that weight, you know, on your shoulder of like, if this succeeds, it's because you did it and your team, but it's because you orchestrated it. And if it fails, it's also on your shoulders. So I feel like me being in the position that I am now, I feel like I have a lot to prove and I'm eager to do that. But yeah, I feel like at being where I'm at, being a program director, that's the biggest thing that I'm proud of this far in my career.
You can hear them 3 to 8 Monday through Friday on Mix 106.3. You guys got a podcast coming out?
Yeah, so we do podcasts every Saturday now, and we do them live on StreamYard, so on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, wherever you can find us. BirdnBeard, BIRD in Beard.
All right.
That's it.
Thank you very much, Clay.
Dude, thank you. This is so much fun.
Check the YouTube channel, James Paxton, to see this episode and previous episodes. And as always, thank you very much to the guest.
Thank you, man. It's awesome.